what I've seen, in my experience, abortion is the #1 controversy among Christians today. So personally, this is going to be a very hard video to make. I know I'll get so much hate for this, but I know it needs to be discussed. As a follower of Jesus Christ, I do not support abortion. I believe that it's murder, and therefore that it is a sin. Let me explain to you why I believe this, offer my fresh perspective, by offering biblically based responses to the 5 most common reasons that people cite in support of abortion. Like I said, this is not going to be an easy video for me to make, but I know that it is necessary. Number 1 is that the baby was conceived in rape or out of wedlock. For this first one, I need you to go out in the streets and point a few people out for me. First off, find me a person who was conceived in rape. And then another one conceived outside of marriage. And then a final one conceived in a loving marital relationship. Find those 3 people for me and explain to me how you know they were conceived that way. Obviously, I know we won't be able to do this, and that's exactly my point. Every single person, no matter the method of conception, is made in the image of God and they have the right to life. Let's have a look at Psalm 139 verse 16. Your eyes saw my unformed substance. In your book were written, every one of them, the days that were formed for me, when as yet there were none of them. There it is right there. God formed us in the womb and ordained us for a purpose, and planned out each day of our lives, even before the first day of our lives started. We are all made in the image of God, and we all have life deserving of protection. And this all includes unborn babies, and none of these rights are determined on how you were conceived. Another excuse that people cite is that having a child might have financial strain on you, take time away from other things in your life, or mess up a plan that you had for your life. I totally get it, bro. Financial strain is hard. You don't want to have to work multiple jobs. You don't want to have to give up certain things, certain plans you have for your life due to time constraints. You may have plans to travel, go to college, start a business that might be messed up by having another child or having a child at all. I get that, bro. But God knit this child in your womb for a reason. Let's have a look at Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. And also, let's have a look at the verses after that. Be wise not in your own eyes, fear the Lord, and turn away from evil. Aborting a baby because it may have financial strain on you, it might screw up your plans, it might eat up too much time, is putting too much trust on yourself, on your own understanding, not into God. Not trusting that God put this child in your womb for a reason. Knowing the financial strain, knowing the time constraint it might put on you, knowing the plans it might ruin for your life. God still put that baby in your womb. Aborting a child for this reason is saying, okay, God, I don't trust in you to provide money for me to support this child. I trust in my plan for my life above yours. I don't trust that this child is in my life for a reason that you've given me. So I'm just going to abort it. Aborting a child because you don't have the resources or the time to support it is quite literally leaning on your own understanding and not God's, which that is quite literally the opposite of what Proverbs 3:5 tells us. Another reason people cite is that you might die if you don't abort, which I honestly understand as well. You want your life to continue, and not aborting could end that life. But let's have a look at what Job has to say in Job verse 121. And he said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I shall return. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. There it is, right there. The Lord has gave, and the Lord has taken away. God has control of your life and control of your death. And we aren't meant to tamper with what God has for our lives. But trust that if we die, that's part of his plan. If we live through that pregnancy, through that childbirth, then that's also part of God's plan. That we need to trust in God's plan, even if it means death. Also, let's also have a look at Philippians verse 121. For me, to live is Christ, and to die is gain. God has control of your life and death, so we need to trust in it. If it's in God's will for you to die during childbirth, so be it. That's God's will. That's God's plan, and he knows better than you. If it's in God's will for you to live through that childbirth, he will let you live, and that's part of his plan as well. We need to trust in God's will for our lives whether that trusting means life or death. Number 4, fetal abnormalities. Like, it makes sense. You can tell from the womb that this baby may have disabilities that may die very soon after childbirth, so you may want to spare that baby of hardship. Let's have a read from John chapter 9 verses 1 through 3. As he passed by, he saw a man blind from birth, and his disciples asked him, "Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" Jesus answered, "It was not that this man has sinned, or his parents, but that the works of God may be displayed in him." God made the man in this story blind for a reason. And so also, if your child may have disabilities, he gave that child disabilities for a reason. This is echoed in Exodus 4:11. God gives people sight, or blindness, or deafness, or hearing, or muteness, or the ability to speak, and he doesn't do any of those things for no reason. So trust that the disability or premature death that your baby might have is all a part of God's plan, and trust in that. Number 5, people claim that it's not a human yet, it's just a clump of cells. And honestly, I believe that this simply is just an excuse and not a true reason. First, let's look logically. In the womb, the fetus has a heartbeat and shows signs of life before it comes out of that womb. Even though it technically might not be a baby yet, it's still a fetus. That's just language. It's still human life. It's not a pest to be exterminated. Now, to look at this biblically, let's have a look at Jeremiah 1 verse 5. "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I consecrated you. I appointed you a prophet to all the nations." Before you were even conceived, God had a plan for your life. He created you to serve his will. He created you with a plan. Like he said, "I consecrated you, I appointed you a prophet to all the nations." He created you with a plan. The first verse we talked about, Proverbs 139 something, tells us that God created us with a purpose. It echoes this verse. It's not my body, my choice. No, God gave you that body. You're borrowing that body from God. It's God's body that you're borrowing, so therefore it's God's choice. So are you going to let that child serve the purpose that God made it for, or are you simply going to exterminate it like it's a pest? Honestly, this is just my interpretation of what God's word tells us about whether abortion is sinful or not, which, as you can tell, I believe that it is sinful. Of course, as a human, I can be wrong. So let me know if you have any other thoughts or comments about this in the comments below. I have an open mind. And with that, peace out and God bless.